Have you ever wondered how to film your crafts to showcase them on YouTube? If so, you're in the right place, because today I'm going to share with you how I do it. I'm Tracey from Mini Scenes GB, and I have a YouTube channel specialising in showing my resin crafts. I've been doing it for a couple of years now and have a couple of million views. So whilst I wouldn't consider myself to be the greatest YouTube guru, I think I've learned a thing or two about filming crafts, particularly top-down filming. We'll cover a lot of ground today, and this video will also be followed up by videos on editing them and how you upload them and the whole shooting match. So the first thing you're going to need is a clear space to film on. Now, don't think your whole room has to be pristine. I try to keep this little area clean and tidy, but if you look to the side, you see the reality, and yeah, it all looks like that really. So don't panic if your room isn't pristine. Anybody can do this. I'm lucky I've got my spare bedroom, so I've got a lot of space. I've filled it with the most almighty clutter. Anyway, the next thing you're going to need then is a clean working space. It's quite good in some ways to see a bit of, the space is used. I mean, look at the edge of my mat. Yeah, I think people like to see that we're human, so it doesn't have to always be pristine, and you'll probably have made an almighty mess by the end of your video anyway. However, if you can start with a fairly clear and cluttered area that looks reasonably clean and so on, it's less distracting for the viewer. Now, I found this because I had more complaints about a dirty mat than anything when I was starting out. So keep your workspace clean. Also, think what your hands look like. A lot of the time you'll be wearing gloves. I used to get comments about dirty nails. They weren't. It was just crafting mess under my nails. But, ink and things like that. But people's perceptions are really weird and screwy, so try to keep everything a little bit clean. If you haven't got the greatest looking hands, just put your gloves on beforehand. I've started painting my nails so you can't see what's under them. Don't look under there. There's probably potatoes growing. So, yes. Clean space is less distracting. People can focus on the video that you're actually making. You don't need to spend a huge amount of money on light. Normally when I'm crafting and top-down filming, I'll have this blue blind wide open, letting in as much natural light as possible. And very often, you know what? That's enough. However, to supplement it, I've got this here. This is a daylight light. It's bendy and I can turn it on and off, different brightnesses. I've also got a couple of ring lights. This one's on, in fact. They're just cheap ones. Lighting with resin crafts or anything else shiny is tricky because you get the reflection down onto the surface of your piece. So you do have to experiment a little bit to try and minimise that. It's not always completely possible. But that's what I've done in terms of lighting. Now, because I want them up off my workspace, I don't want the tripod things down here or anything cluttering my workspace that I could keep knocking over. What we've done is we fitted these things all to the windowsill, and I'll show you what the rest are in a moment. But this is the light. It's one of these ones on a clamp. And what happens is this keeps sliding off. So my other things are screwed to the windowsill. Can you see there's a screw down there? They're all actually screwed to the windowsill. All these things are. Fitted me an extra wide windowsill so that we could do that. Basically just stuck another windowsill over the top of the previous one. But you can probably stick all these things to the edge of your desk. Can I just suggest, though, do screw them on, because if one falls off and ends up in your resin, it can be a bit of a nightmare, especially if it's the one that's holding your phone, which is filming. So yes, this one is well and truly screwed to the windowsill, because you don't want your brand new iPhone dropped into your resin. Which then leads us on nicely to the next topic, which is the actual filming equipment. Now, I'm filming this with a little DJI Osmo Pocket 3 because I treated myself, but look what I usually use. Yes, it's an iPhone. This is an iPhone 15 Pro. Any modern smartphone should do. Now, what I tend to do is I zoom it out, and I zoom it out so I've got a bit more space than I need. So I can have a lot of space or just zoom in a little bit. So if I film a bit bigger than I actually need, that just gives me that flexibility when I'm editing to go in and out and, vary it a little bit. So yes, little tips for you with regards to using a phone. If you're going to be upgrading your phone, can I suggest you get one with the biggest memory possible? because it will drive you crazy, keep having to empty the memory out so that you can film. And there is nothing worse than your memory all filling up and the phone goes in the middle of you filming, and you're just at that crucial point with your whatever craft it is that you want to you want to show people, and you suddenly realise that bit of film is lost. Let's talk about sound next. Now, the sound on your smartphone is darn good, to be honest. And if you know what you're doing with the editing, you can actually improve it so it sounds almost as good as if you've got a plug-in or a lavalier mic on the go. However, this is a good upgrade. And again, this is screwed to my windowsill. You can spend as much or as little as you like on one of these. My first microphone was on a little stand, and it was about £30. This one I bought recently, and it was about £80, I think. And it, as you can see, screws onto my windowsill. It's a nice bendy arm. So I make sure when I'm recording, if I'm sitting down, I bring it down low and point it at me. You can adjust all these twiddly bits to keep it in place. Because this is directional, its best recording position is from like about here, just in front of it. And then when I'm standing up, which I do quite a lot when I'm filming, so that I can see what's going on my phone screen. See, you're seeing from my eye level view at the moment. So I do tend to stand up so I can see what's going on here, because you use the camera on the back. So this is my screen where I can see what I'm recording. So yes, I'm very often standing up, so I will be using this in this position up here, like pointed right in front of my mouth. You could alternatively use a little lavalier microphone, which you can connect to your iPhone. I'm using mine at the moment connected to my DJI Osmo. What you're looking for is one that will easily plug into whatever you're filming with. And in this case, it's a newish iPhone, so it's got a C connector. It's got a USB on the end of this cable for the microphone, but of course you can put all sorts on the end of that. So I've got a pack of C connectors. You just plug it straight into your phone. Your phone should recognise it. If it doesn't, you can go into the settings and tell it which sound device to use. And the microphone wakes up. There you go. And as it's all lit up, I know it's working. So that, if I press record on my phone now, it will also record the sound from this microphone, which will be a lot better. So if you're just starting out with filming your crafts, can I suggest the main things you'll need is going to be something to hold your phone. And your next step, I would say, would be a microphone. Long before you go investing in fancy cameras, if it's just for top-down filming of crafts, I think you'll notice if you see the reflections of people's camera equipment in some of the very biggest crafting YouTubers' videos, they're still using phones. They're just good enough, more than good enough. So your sound upgrade, I think, would be your next step if you wanted to move on a step. If you really want to push the boat out and have two camera angles, then you get a second camera arm and borrow a phone. I keep my old iPhone 13 for doing this. So I can have this arm here, again, screwed to the windowsill. I can tip it around, have my phone filming at this angle so that I've got a top down and I've got that. Now, that does lead to an editing challenge, which CapCut has just made easier, which I will show you. Now, let me just talk a bit more about these clips for the phone. I've just taken the one off that second one, and this is what they look like. I would go for these ones. I'm trying to do this one-handed because I've got my camera in my other hand. Yeah, look, see the stretchy ones? Rather than the ones that go like that, because I found those break way too easily. So I've got this one off just so that I can show you. But it's a standard phone holder. And these arms do tend to come with exactly that. So that's nice and easy. So we've talked about what to film with. We have talked about lighting. Don't forget, a couple of good angle poise lamps might even do you. Table lamps might do you. But whatever, just get some nice bright lighting. Brighter than you need for your eyes a little bit is what you normally need. Daylight, if I open this blind, daylight is your best friend. We have looked at the sound and a potential upgrade for you. And we've looked at how you do a second camera if you want to. I will delete the sound off the camera recording that comes off this one. I hope that was helpful, everyone. The next video, which will be linked up somewhere up here, I will be covering how you then transfer that film onto your computer. and how you edit. I use CapCut, but a lot of the principles are the same whichever software you use. CapCut does have a free version, which is quite comprehensive, by the way, although I've got the pro version, so I do use a couple of extra features. But I'll be showing you all of that in the next video. I hope that was helpful. Please do put any questions you have down in the video comments. I do my best to answer all of your questions as soon as I can, because it's important to me. I want to be helpful for you. So enjoy, and if you like this video, don't forget, as I said, watch the next ones in this series, because we're going to do the whole thing right through to uploading and what you do after. And do subscribe and hit that notification bell, because then I can let you know when there's something useful coming up for you. It's free, of course, too. Buttons are down here, just click something. I'll see you for the next one. Bye.
Growing older, getting gray, laughing all the way, every single day, wrinkles forming, but I don't care.